Advaita Gadadhar. Srila Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Gopa Gopinath, Shamakund, Radhakund, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mayi Ki Jai. Ganga Mayi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Om Gam Tanandasya Anandana Shakaya Chakshurmritanjaya Sanchurina Chaitanya Vishnu Svatanya Bhutale
Okay.
Svanrupakadama Ati Sapanjana Andeyam Shira Shijata Padma Shri Vaishnava Rupam Sarvajata Sarvinatam Vitam Vansijivam Sanvaitam Savadutam Vijna Sarekam Vishnu Shaitam Devam Shri Radha Krishna Varam Sarvinatam Shri Shakamitam Shri Hare Krishna Varam Namaste Arakanta Namaste Taptakanchana Gaurami Radhimi Naveshwari Vishvamesvate Devi Mami Hare Antyakalpatarvesya Vibhasanti Devachan Chanam Avanebhyo Vishnu Namo Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Guru Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Chapter 11, text 39. Vayu Yamogni Varuna Shashanka Japatistam Papitamahascha Namo Namaste Susahasrita Yashtuyo Namo Namaste. You are air, fire, water.
Supreme controller and thus I often have respectful abilities. I'm sure you 1,000 times and get it done.
40. Maparastat Tataste Mostate Sarvata Eva Sarva Ananta Divyamita Vikramastam Sarvam Samatno Shitatosi Sarvaha. Translation. Obeisances from the front.
From behind and from all sides, O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might, you are all-pervading, and thus you are everything.
41 through 42. Saketi Mata Rasapam Yaduktam Ye Krishna He Yadava He Saketi Ajanta Mahimanam Tavedam Maya Pramadatvam Ye Navapi Yachchavasartam Mokshan Gacchami Tamaham Apameyam. Translation. I have in the past addressed you
as, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, without knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times when relaxing or lying on the same bed and eating together, sometimes alone, sometimes in front of many friends. Please excuse me for all my offenses.
Tasigo Krishna Chaturasya Masipujasya Guru Griya Natvat Samosyami Yadika Kutonyo Loka Tre Yaputila Pramava. Translation. You are the Father,
The cosmic manifestation, the worshipful chief, the spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. Within the three worlds, you are immeasurable.
44. Tasmat Pranamya Panidaya Kaya Prasade Tramaham Ishamidyam Piteva Putrasya Sakya 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 Priya Priya Hara Sakya Sodham. You are the Supreme Lord,
To be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respects and ask your mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you and bear with me as a father with his son, or a friend with his friend, or a lover with his beloved.
45. Avistapurvam Vishtos Vishva Ayim Chapravyat Tamame Deva Darshanadeva Rupam Prasida Devesha Jagannivasa. After seeing this universal form,
Which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe.
46. Kiritanam Gadanam Chakranastam Ichamitam Drashtam.
Under the head, but you accomplish the lowest power in your hands. I long to speak to
Shri Bhagavan Bhatta Maya Prasaneta Bhajnedam Rupam Param Darshan Yoga Nijomayam Vishwam Anantam Advaitamanyena Vishnupurvam. Thus the Lord said,
you, Arjuna. Please do I show you this universe form of the material world of my internal purpose. What who has ever seen the sound of the marrying form.
Veda Yajaya Dhanaya Chakriya Piridat Povirukai Evam Rupa Shakya Amniloke Ashtum Taranena Kuru. O best of the Kuru warriors,
What who has ever seen this form. Neither by studying Vedas nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this.
other text for you. Ma te pita ma cham nurabhavo Vishvarupa Ghoram Vedam Yape tapi Vitamana Prastham Tadeva me Rupa Vidam Papasya. Translation. Your mind is perturbed.
Seeing this horrible feature of now let it be finished, my Lord, and be free from all disturbance. Peaceful mind, we now see the form we desire.
Back to 30, right? For air, fire, water, energy, fire, and moon. You are the supreme controller and supreme father. Thus I offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again and yet again. The Lord is addressed as Hare because the Hare is the most important representation of all demigods, being all pervasive. Arjuna also addresses Krishna as the grandfather because he is the father of Brahma, the first living creature in the universe.
Story and vision. Obeisances will come. Whoever comes before you, the demigod, is created by you, from supreme personality of God.
Page 41 and 42. I have in the past addressed you as O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, without knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times while relaxing or while lying in the same bed or eating together, sometimes alone and sometimes with my many friends. Please excuse me for all my offenses. Purport. Although Krishna is manifested before Arjuna in his universal form, Arjuna remembers his friendly relationship with Krishna and is therefore asking pardon or requesting him to excuse him for the many informal gestures which arise out of friendship. He is admitting that formerly he did not know that Krishna could assume such a universal form, although he explained it as his intimate friend. Arjuna did not know how many times he may have dishonored him by addressing him as, "O my friend, O Krishna, O Yadava," etc., without acknowledging his opulence. But Krishna is so kind and merciful that in spite of such opulence, he played with Arjuna as a friend. Such is the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. The relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten, as we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Although Arjuna has seen the opulence in the universal form, he could not forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. Text 43. You are the Father of this complete cosmic manifestation, the worshipable chief, the spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. Within the three worlds, you are immeasurable. Purport. The Lord Krishna is worshipable as a father is worshipable for his son. He is the spiritual master because he originally gave the Vedic instructions to Brahma, and presently he is also instructing Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Therefore, he is the original spiritual master, and any bona fide spiritual master at the present moment must be a descendant in the line of disciplic succession stemming from Krishna. Without being a representative of Krishna, one cannot become a teacher or spiritual master of transcendental subject matter. The Lord is being paid obeisances in all respects. He is of immeasurable greatness. No one can be greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, because no one is equal to or higher than Krishna within any manifestation, spiritual or material. Everyone is below him. No one can excel him. The Supreme Lord Krishna has senses and a body like the ordinary man. But for him, there is no difference between his senses, body, mind, and himself. Foolish persons who do not know him perfectly say that Krishna is different from his soul, mind, heart, and everything else. Krishna is absolute. Therefore, his activities and potencies are supreme. It is also stated that he does not have senses like ours. He can perform all sensual activities. Therefore, his senses are neither imperfect nor limited. No one can be greater than him. No one can be equal to him, and everyone is lower than him. Whoever knows his transcendental body, activities, and perfection, after quitting his body, returns to him and doesn't come back again to this miserable world. Therefore, one should know that Krishna's activities are different from others. The best policy is to follow the principles of Krishna. That will make one perfect. It is also stated that there is no one who is master of Krishna. Everyone is his servant. Only Krishna is God, and everyone is servant. Everyone is complying with his order. There is no one who can deny his order. Everyone is acting according to his direction, being under his superintendence. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, he is the cause of all causes.
Joyful translation. You are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respects and ask your mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you and bear with me as a father with his son, or a friend with his friend, or a lover with his beloved. Purport. Krishna's devotees relate to Krishna in various relationships. One might treat Krishna as a son. One might treat Krishna as a husband, as a friend, as a master, etc. Krishna and Arjuna are related in friendship. As the father tolerates, or the husband or master tolerates, so Krishna tolerates.
Text 45. After seeing this universal form, which I had never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead. O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. Purport. Arjuna is always in confidence with Krishna because he is a very dear friend, and as a dear friend is gladdened by his friend's opulence, Arjuna is very joyful to see that his friend Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and can show such a wonderful universal form. But at the same time, after seeing that universal form, he is afraid that he has committed so many offenses to Krishna out of his unalloyed friendship. Thus his mind is disturbed out of fear, although he had no reason to fear. Arjuna therefore is asking Krishna to show his Narayan form, because he can assume any form. This universal form is material and temporary, as the material world is temporary. But in the Vaikuntha planets, he has his transcendental form with the four hands as Narayan. There are innumerable planets in the spiritual sky, and in each of them Krishna is present by explanatory manifestations of different names. Thus Arjuna desired to see one of the forms manifest in the Vaikuntha planets. Of course, in each Vaikuntha planet, the Lord of Narayana is four-handed. And the four hands hold different symbols. They call them shell, mace, lotus, and disc. According to the different hands, these four things are held in. The Narayans are named. All of these forms are one and the same to Krishna. Therefore, Arjuna requests to see his four-handed feature.
Text 46. O universal Lord, I wish to see you in your form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. Allow me to see you in that form. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord is eternally situated in hundreds and thousands of forms, and the main forms are those like Brahma, Nrsimha, Narayan, etc. They are innumerable forms, but Arjuna knew that Krishna is the original personality of God, assuming his temporary universal form. He is now asking to see the form of Narayan, a spiritual form. This verse establishes without any doubt the statement of the Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is the original personality of God and that all of the features originate from him. He is not different from his plenary expansions, and he is God in any of his innumerable forms. In all of these forms, he is fresh like a young man. That is the constant feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who knows Krishna at once becomes free from all contamination of the material world.
The Blessed Lord said, "My dear Arjuna, happily do I show you this universal form within the material world by my internal potency. No one before you has ever seen this unlimited and glaringly effulgent form." Purport. Arjuna wanted to see the universal form of the Supreme Lord, so out of his mercy upon his devotee Arjuna, Lord Krishna showed his universal form, full of effulgence and opulence. This form was glaring like the sun, and its many faces were rapidly changing. Krishna showed this form just to satisfy the desire of his friend Arjuna. This form was manifested by Krishna through his internal potency, which is inconceivable by human speculation. No one had seen this universal form of the Lord before Arjuna, but because the form was shown to Arjuna, other devotees in the heavenly planets and in other planets in outer space could also see it. They did not see it before, but because of Arjuna, they were also able to see it. In other words, all the disciplic devotees of the Lord could see the universal form which was shown to Arjuna by the mercy of Krishna. Someone commented that this form was shown to Duryodhana also when Krishna went to Duryodhana to negotiate for peace. Unfortunately, Duryodhana did not accept the peace offer, but at that time, Krishna manifested some of his universal forms. But those forms are different from this one shown to Arjuna. It is clearly said that no one has ever seen this form before.
O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this. Purport. The divine vision in this connection should be clearly understood. Who can have divine vision? Divine means godly. Unless one attains the status of divinity as a demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of the Lord Vishnu are demigods. Those who are atheistic, i.e., who do not believe in Vishnu, or who only recognize the impersonal part of Krishna as the Supreme cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible to decry Krishna and at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see like Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita gives the description of the universal form, and this description was unknown to everyone before Arjuna. Now one can have some idea of the Vishvarupa after this incident. Those who are actually divine can see the universal form of the Lord. But one cannot be divine without being a pure devotee of Krishna. The devotees, however, who are actually in the divine nature and who have divine vision are not very much interested to see the universal form of the Lord. As described in the previous verse, Arjuna desired to see the four-handed form of Lord Vishnu, the four-handed form of Lord Krishna as Vishnu, and he was actually afraid of the universal form. In this verse, there are some significant words, just like Veda Yagyadya Yanai, which refers to studying Vedic literature and the subject matter of sacrificial regulations. Veda refers to all kinds of Vedic literature, namely the four Vedas, Rig, Yajus, Sama, and Atharva, and the 18 Puranas and Upanishads, and Vedanta Sutra. One can study these at home or anywhere else. Similarly, there are sutras, Kalpa Sutras, and Mimamsa Sutras for studying the method of sacrifice. Dhanai refers to charity which is offered to a suitable party, such as those who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, the Brahmanas, and the Vaishnavas. Similarly, pious activities refer to the Agnihotra, etc., the prescribed duties of the different castes. Pious activities and the voluntary acceptance of some bodily pains are called tapasya. So one can perform all these, can accept bodily penances, give charity, study the Vedas, etc. But unless he is a devotee like Arjuna, it is not possible to see that universal form. Those who are impersonalists are also imagining that they are seeing the universal form of the Lord. But from Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the impersonalists are not devotees. Therefore, they are unable to see the universal form of the Lord. There are many persons who create incarnations. They falsely claim an ordinary man to be an incarnation, but this is all foolishness. We should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, there is no possibility of attaining perfect spiritual knowledge. Although Bhagavad Gita is considered the preliminary study of the science of God, still it is so perfect that one can distinguish what is what. The followers of a pseudo-incarnation may say that they have also seen the transcendental incarnation of God, the universal form, but that is not acceptable, because it is clearly stated here that unless one becomes a devotee of Krishna, one cannot see the universal form of God. So one first of all has to become a pure devotee of Krishna. Then he can claim that he can show the universal form of what he has seen. A devotee of Krishna cannot accept false incarnations or followers of false incarnations. Text 49. Your mind has been perturbed on seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free from all disturbance. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. Purport: in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was worried about killing Bhishma and Drona, his worshipful grandfathers and masters. But Krishna said that he need not be afraid of killing his grandfather. When they tried to disrobe Draupadi in the assembly, Bhishma and Drona were silent, and for such negligence of duty they should be killed. Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna just to show him that these people were already killed for their unlawful action. That scene was shown to Arjuna because devotees are always peaceful and they cannot perform such horrible actions. The purpose of the revelation of the universal form was shown. Now Arjuna wanted to see the four-armed form, and Krishna showed him. A devotee is not much interested in the universal form, for it does not enable one to reciprocate loving feelings. A devotee wants to offer his respectful worshiping feelings. Thus he wants to see the two-handed or four-handed Krishna form, so he can reciprocate in loving service with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So my question is about in the first few verses that we read, Prabhupada is describing how Arjuna dropped his mood of friendship and entered into a reverential mood. And maybe I can go back there to see what it was. I think it's around 39. My question has to do with maintaining right. So we understand that everybody has their own that everyone has their own swarupa, but in the preliminary stages of devotional service, I'm wondering how much we let that show, or how much that plays into how we execute our Vaidhi Bhakti under the gross regulations of the spiritual master. So that's the question. Sorry. So maybe the devotees can ask something. That, or we can have a type of discussion.
I can read it. I can read it purport.
And my question is, we know that everybody has a swarupa.
Read a purport to your question if you want.
Right. So my question is, everyone has their swarupa, which means that we have our internal relationship with Krishna, which is in a certain food. But while we execute devotional service on this planet and these bodies, under the guidance of the spiritual master, how much does that play into our practical activities? And does it manifest in our mind, in our actions, how we deal with the deity, how we deal with the devotees, how we deal like that? So you want to read some purports, bro?
Unless, did you have an answer?
I have a comment on this.
So as we perform Vaidya Bhakti and the more that we please Krishna by our devotion, internally we realize these things like our spiritual swarup, and these things are also revealed by Krishna or the spiritual master when one is at that certain level of perfection in his service, in his devotion, his dedication, it's his maturity. It all manifests internally first. Nothing manifests unless externally, without it being realized internally. So it's something it's very subtle, and it's very personal, and it's something that is really up to the devotee himself about on when he's reciprocating in the material world, how much of this actual spiritual realization is he allows to bleed through in his devotional service. It's all due to discrimination, just like when we preach on the Uttama Adhikari, he has to come down to the Madhyama level in order to preach. He has to make distinction between the atheists, the innocent, and the demonic and the divine. He has to make, although in actuality he's at the level of where he's seen every other living entity as serving Krishna, and him himself is being dejected as not adequately serving Krishna. Whereas that's his humility. That's a certain a certain aspect of one's static relationship with Krishna that is beyond what we can understand here in the material realm, where we have to use our intelligence to discriminate between things in order to appropriately interact with them in the proper manner required to perform our service, like our service to help the innocent, to recognize the devotee within what may be a very rough or demonic characteristics. We have to be able to discriminate in order to preach, for preaching purposes. And a lot of that comes from the help of the super soul within. It's not by our own senses or intelligence that we can actually perceive these things. We're only perceiving the gross, superficial things as they appear to our senses. But the more that we advance in devotional service, the more these things internally become available through the spiritual master and the super soul within, that we can actually see deeper into where a person is in their own particular path, or their own particular material contamination or covering, and we can see how to bring out that person's devotional nature, rather, and encourage that, water that, without watering the weeds or those things which are keeping him from developing into actual self-realization of his spiritual identity, which is actually full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. It's very deep, it's when one becomes very peaceful, he can become happy, and that happiness can actually be realized, and it can be shared through our preaching, and other individuals will recognize that this person is genuinely happy, and I want to be happy like this person. What has he got? What is he doing that I'm not doing? Or what has he got? And so then they will be ready to take guidance until they can learn, how to become happy by your example. By how do you become so happy? How am I, is it that I am so unhappy? Maybe there must be something I can learn from you, that I can, but there must be something that you can teach me. So that's where they actually become candidates, or to become humble and become actual candidates of the Lord of Krishna's mercy, or the devotee's mercy, to that of submission, sincere submission to of desire to spiritual desire. So everything begins with desire, of course, but we have to purify our desires from the material to the spiritual, and that's an internal thing. And then only, and that's only done through the process of Daivi Bhakti. That's our process to do that, which is actually a process of sacrificing tapasya, austerity. But it becomes like nectar, even though in the beginning it's like poison. Sense gratification seems like nectar in the beginning, but it's like poison in the end. Damage covered us in a false identity of joy in this world or control, or actually to bring us misery, because it's not possible to be that as a servant, by the servant of the words. Energy. So hope that helps.
Okay. Okay.
So, who are we in the spiritual world? It's a very high topic, but the devotees, it's explained in all the books of Srila Prabhupada, like the Nectar of Devotion, which is the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Srimad Bhagavatam, that our eternal identity will become, when one is practicing devotional service according to the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga, under the guidance of the spiritual master, as they go on practicing, eventually their eternal identity in the spiritual world is automatically revealed. So it's not from some sort of some other process or some other thing needs to happen, or you pay someone for like a new mantra or something, but it's automatically revealed, their eternal identity in the spiritual world. There's a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that explains how if someone has pure love of Godhead, then if they have pure love for Krishna, they're not attracted to anything else, just Krishna. So then there's also people who imitate this high platform of having love of Krishna. But we can see from this standard, if you have love of Krishna, you're not attracted to anything else. So like, you can see people in different places in India. There's a man going around with the chandan sandalwood pulp, and he'll put it on the other guy's head, and then they both hug each other, and then they both fall on the ground, and they pretend to cry, and they roll on the ground, and then eventually they separate, and they're still acting like they're in so much ecstasy, and two people come and carefully pick them up, and so help them stand after they just did this whole ecstatic rolling thing. And then afterwards they go and eat fish. So how can you have love of Godhead if you're eating fish? Or they'll do nice kirtans where they're jumping around and some artificial tears and all these things, and then they go and smoke BBs afterwards. But like we see, love of Krishna means it's just Krishna. They're fully, they're not attracted to anything else. So these things are artificial. So some people also try to say that you can just know your who you are in the spiritual world just
from the very beginning, while you're still engaging in material activities and fully engrossed in material consciousness, you can know your eternal position in the spiritual world and act in that way. But that makes a lot of problems because those who are acting on that platform of spontaneous love of God, they don't act according to rules and regulations. So if someone's not on that platform and then you tell them to act on that platform, then that's only going to cause trouble. Because if we're engaging in bhakti yoga, following all the different rules and regulations to develop attachment to Krishna, like he says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you don't just have pure love for me and attachment to me, then practice the regulative principles of bhakti yoga, and in that way, gain the desire to attain me. So that's what we're doing. But people in the spiritual world, like Mother Yashoda, she's chasing Krishna with a stick. She's telling him, you need to come right now and take your lunch. And like this, it's not according to rules and regulations. We don't chase the deity form of the Lord with the stick and things like this. So it's a different platform when someone's actually in spontaneous love of Godhead. And that's not the platform that we're at if we're still attracted to so many material things. So we follow the process by practicing according to the regulative principles. And then here's just two or three purports, depending on the time. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, text, chapter 24, text 45 to 46, purport. Without serving Krishna according to the Vaidhi Marg regulative principles of the Pancharatrika Vidhi, unscrupulous persons want to jump immediately to the Raga Marg principles. Here, I'll change the camera. Such persons are called Sahajya. There are also demons who enjoy depicting Krishna and his pastimes with the gopis, taking advantage of Krishna by their licentious character. These demons who print books and write lyrics on the Raga Marg principles are surely on the way to hell. Unfortunately, they lead others down with them. Devotees in Krishna consciousness should be very careful to avoid such demons. One should strictly follow the Vaidhi Marg regulative principles in the worship of Lakshmi Narayana. Although the Lord is present in the temple as Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna includes Lakshmi Narayana. Therefore, when one worships the Lord according to the regulative principles, the Lord accepts the service in the role of Lakshmi Narayana. In the Nectar of Devotion, full instructions are given about the Vaidhi Marg worship of Radha Krishna, or Lakshmi Narayana. Although there are 64 kinds of offenses one can commit in Vaidhi Marg worship, in Raga Marg worship there is no consideration of such offenses, because the devotees on that platform are very much elevated, and there is no question of offense. But if we do not follow the regulative principles on the Vaidhi Marg platform, and keep our eyes trained to spot offenses, we will not make progress. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 16. The Siddha Pranali process is followed by a class of men who are not very authorized and who have manufactured their own way of devotional service. They imagine that they have become associates of the Lord simply by thinking of themselves like that. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. The so-called Siddha Pranali process is followed by the Prakrita Sahajya, a pseudo-sect of so-called Vaishnavas. In the opinion of Rupa Goswami, such activities are simply disturbances to the standard way of devotional service. Sri Rupa Goswami says that learned acharyas recommend that we follow the regulative principles even after the development of spontaneous love for Krishna. And one last one, since we're out of time. Of course, there's a lot that you could discuss on this, but we're out of time. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 40. One should not artificially try to establish some relationship. In the premature stage, it is sometimes found that a lusty, conditioned person will artificially try to establish some relationship with Krishna in conjugal love. The result of this is that one becomes Prakrita Sahajya, or one who takes everything very cheaply. Although such persons may be very anxious to establish a relationship with Krishna in conjugal love, their conditioned life in the material world is still most abominable. A person who has actually established his relationship with Krishna can no longer act on the material plane, and his personal character cannot be criticized. Okay, we don't have any more time. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.